All right, welcome to World War America. This is Anderson Thomas. Okay, so we're following the money on New York City Mayor Eric Adams, and these are the first steps. So, first steps when following the money into Mayor Eric Adams of the great city of New York. All right, so the first thing you have to do is you have to grab his financial disclosures, which are publicly available. I believe it's the Conflict of Interest Board, New York City. They have it available on their site. You can just click on it, open it up, take a look. So that's the first thing you do. You want to grab that and go through it. Then you want to go to the New York City Campaign Finance Board. And in specific, you want to search independent expenditures. Now here's why you search that instead of regular campaign donations. There are campaign limits set in New York City, so I think it's $5,100. So an individual is allowed to give per year, I believe. And the mayor does a good job in raising money there, but that's just, it's limited. It's not something where, I mean, you definitely want to look there, but it's not something to start an investigation at. Where you want to start an investigation is in the independent expenditures, because that's where the big money is. All right. And in specific for him, there's a group called Strong Leadership New York City, which spent millions to get him elected. So there are other groups as well, but let's just focus on Strong Leadership New York City, because that's just a good example to use here. So the New York City Campaign Finance website allows you to see the contributions to this group, Strong Leadership NYC. Okay, and when you take a look, you can see that a lot of money has gone in. Here's the issue. You want to first organize the contribution results in descending order. Okay, make sure you do that. So that way you can see the biggest contributors to this entity first. Okay, so the first thing you do is you go in, you pull up Strong Leadership New York City and the independent expenditures. You look at their contributors. You put the list in descending order once you pull up the results. Okay, so why do you want to go to the big money pot, which is independent expenditures? Why do you want to then organize the contributions to these entities that are doing independent expenditures on behalf of Mayor? They did independent expenditures on behalf of Mayor Adams. Why do you want to do it this way? Well, because the only way you're ever going to get any story published anywhere is if you have huge dollar amounts connected to an official act. Now, you can find all these official acts that the mayor does that you don't like, but if you can't track a money, if you can't prove a money trail where individual A or organization A contributed this much money to the mayor, and then a few months or weeks or years or a year later, he then did something through his office which greatly benefited that group or individual. If you don't have that money trail, then you're just wasting your time. So you can do this two ways. Most people out there start with, well, I'm going to dig into the people I don't like who are connected to Mayor Adams, and I'm going to find the money trail between them and him, and then I'm going to prove something. Don't do it that way. Okay, that's where bias comes in. That's where you're blinded. That's when you're not going to find what you need to find. Okay, just follow the money, right? And the best way to follow the money is start at the biggest dollar amounts and work your way down from there. Okay, and so whatever names you see connected to the biggest dollar amount contributions or donations to this group, Strong Leadership LLC, those are the people you want to look at. It's that simple. Don't do it the other way. I think a lot of people out there, journalists, citizen journalists, people who want to do this type of stuff, they go in and they see that there's a person that they don't like who supports Mayor Adams. And so now they're going to dig into that person. Well, okay, that's great. But what this is just going on your opinion because you're just that great? Why? No, you have to start off someplace. You never start off with, well, I just don't like that guy. Don't ever do that. Huge mistake. I can't go I can't begin to tell you how big of a mistake that is. Okay? It's the worst mistake you could ever make. So start off with the money. Just look at the money. Okay? Look at the money. It's very important. Now, there are other ways to connect the politician's actions in office to political favoritism. You can. I'm telling you, there are other ways. And I'm sure those other ways seem more fun, and it seems like the cool way to do it, but you're not going to get good results that way. I mean, you could, but you're not going to get the best results possible. Okay? This is the easiest and best way to get the best results. Okay? To wrap this up in a nutshell about, going this route with money, okay? The other way to put it is, you simply don't have a story if you don't have a money trail. Okay? You don't have a story if you don't have a money trail. Don't waste your time digging into groups or organizations you can't connect to an office holder through some type of money trail. You must have a monetary connection. The bigger the money, the better the connection. This is imperative. Imperative. With that said, here are some of the bigger donations to this group called Strong Leadership NYC that used independent expenditures to help Mayor Adams get elected. This is in order from biggest donors on down. So first of all, Stephen Cohen, $1 million on June 8th, 2021. $500,000 check on May 18th, 2021. Stephanie Coleman, $500,000 on June 17th, 2021. Kenneth Griffin, $500,000 on May 17th, 2021. Daniel Loeb, $500,000 on May 11th, 2021, and $500,000 on June 3rd, 2021. The group spent $3.4 million on a TV and cable ad on June 7th, 2021 for Mayor Adams' campaign and independent expenditure, and they spent $1.5 million on another TV cable ad on May 14th, 2021. They did a bunch of phone banks and mailers. They spent over $6 million on independent expenditures for the 2021 season campaign. So those are the biggest donors from the group. There are many, many more, by the way. Those are the dollar amounts of individual donations, okay? You know where they spent the money, on TV and cable ads, on phone banks, on mailers, okay? All of this is important to look at because it's what gives you the starting point. It's what allows you to stand on solid ground, so no matter where you go from here on out, as long as you start here with these names and these numbers, whatever you get later on, it will all work for an end product because you started off with big money and you connected it. Okay, you just went down the trail. You connected it. You see it. It's connected to the mayor. Okay, you see it. It's obvious. It's a lot of money. Now, what you have to do is you have to find out, well, what is Stephen Cohen into? Well, he's the mayor. He's the owner of the New York Mets. And what he's looking to do, and he's in the news recently, okay? He's looking to build a new casino in New York City. There are 3 new licenses out there. He wants one of them. I'm telling you now, Mayor Adams can help in that endeavor. I don't know how, but he can. He's the mayor of the city, right? And this is what we know. I know. If you go back in time, you'll see Mayor Adams has had a hand in another casino in New York City when he was an elected official on a state level, okay? So this is the type of place where you can start. This is where you need to start, always. If you start any other place, then you are going to end up probably in a place where you might find a bunch of good stuff, but it's not going to be usable because you couldn't connect the dots. This is a way to connect the dots as you go along. So that way you never get to a dot that isn't connected to previous dots. This is the best way to do it. All right. So with that in mind, good hunting. We'll talk soon. Take care.